Denver sues Trump, saying the feds can't break a promise to pay for migrant services that Congress asked for.
They funded support for this crisis, and we delivered.
Our truth test of the pro-Trump ad running all the time and why it's on the air at all, well outside election season. As states stop adding fluoride to their drinking water, a reminder of why Colorado was the model for that generations ago.
The benefit would not by any means outweigh the cost.
Let's help fund a small nonprofit in the high country that's helping Coloradans mitigate the fire danger around their homes. And our Friday tradition continues, 443 weeks and counting. A pause in the news for whatever is making headlines in your life.
My good news, graduating, being a first gen to graduate.
Tonight on Next. Denver is taking its most direct action yet to fight back against President Trump, suing to get funding that Congress promised Denver. Money the city already spent taking care of migrants who flowed into Colorado in 2023 and 2024. Money the Trump administration is trying to block because Denver now won't force local law enforcement to help with deportations. It's $24 million in grant agreements that the Trump administration says it will no longer honor. Denver was working with the feds under a shelter and services program that had been around since the first Trump administration. Denver was granted $32 million, but has only been paid back $8 million so far. Today, Denver joins Chicago and Pima County, Arizona, in a lawsuit that argues those funds were approved by Congress and the executive branch does not have the unilateral authority to interfere with that spending. Mayor Mike Johnson says the federal government requested help from cities like Denver in dealing with the migrant crisis. The mayor says that Trump is now, quote, illegally trying to punish cities who did the work the federal government couldn't.
Congress asked us to spend dollars to support a migrant crisis. We spent dollars to support that purpose, and now they're rescinding dollars for us doing exactly what the Congress asked us to do. And so for us, there's no grounds by which a new executive can somehow rescind congressional allocation simply because he disagrees with what Congress decided to do.
And the lawsuits go the other way, too. Denver's already being sued by the Trump administration for the local policies that restrict law enforcement cooperation with ICE unless ICE has a warrant for a violent criminal. The national debate over adding fluoride to drinking water is not likely to play out in familiar ways in Colorado. Because while Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants a ban, and Utah and Florida have gone ahead and done it, our Spencer Stoischer found that Colorado's water has the natural stuff.
This actually has a caramel flavor to it.
At this dentist office in Wheat Ridge,
this gets painted on the teeth.
You can make your own decision about the fluoride going in your mouth.
I've had some kids say, I love the taste of that. And I've had some kids just get up, upset and crying that they've had to have it.
Dr. David Strange, yes, Dr. Strange, is like most dentists.
You got the breaking down of the enamel.
Confident in what fluoride does for teeth.
So if you don't have fluoride in the incorporation and the building of that enamel, then you're going to have weaker teeth.
Despite the dental benefits, Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill this week that bans local governments from adding fluoride to water. He called it forced medication.
We did a very long time ago add fluoride, but we no longer add it.
If the city of Aurora was somehow in Florida, the city wouldn't have a problem.
We don't need to add it. We have naturally occurring fluoride that's in our source waters.
In fact, a lot of Colorado is in the same boat. Aurora, Castle Rock, Golden, Westminster, and Colorado Springs all don't add fluoride to their water. Their water source naturally has the levels needed.
Which comes from mineral erosion in the South Platte, Arkansas, and Colorado River Basin.
According to the State Health Department, Colorado's natural geology means some areas may have more fluoride in the water than others.
Fluoride will stay in the Fort Collins City water supply.
In 2005, Fort Collins voters approved adding fluoride to the water to meet recommended levels, something Denver and Arvada also do.
This material is what they call hydrophilic.
And Dr. Strange says he can tell when there's fluoride in his patient's water.
We're in an area in a community where there's the right amount of fluoride in the water. We absolutely see kids that have healthy teeth that haven't suffered.
RFK Jr. could direct the CDC to change its recommendations for fluoride in water, but taking fluoride out of water is a really expensive process, which Aurora Water said far outweighs any benefits in trying to remove it.
Okay, so suppose you had Secretary Kennedy come in here and say, take out the natural fluoride in the water. What would that look like?
It would be extremely tough, especially for someone like Aurora who pulls from a bunch of different bodies of water. Although Colorado Springs, which is known nationally as like the place where this started, well, they already have to dilute their water at some capacity, but a lot of it would be a big problem.
That's very interesting stuff. All right, Spencer Soisher, thank you. Governor Jared Polus vetoed a bill today that would have made it easier for workers to unionize. He vetoed it just like he said he would here on Next at the beginning of the year when he warned Democrats he was not going to support any changes to labor law that were not backed by business lobbyists. Dems passed the bill anyway, dared Polus to veto it, so we did. Federal law allows employees to unionize with a simple majority vote, but Colorado Senate Bill 5 would have repealed Colorado's Labor Peace Act, which requires a second supermajority vote in this state before unions can collect certain fees from non-union employees. Democrats and labor organizers who backed the repeal said that that is unnecessary because unions provide protection to all employees, whether they voted for the union or not. Polus says he's not opposed to changing the Labor Peace Act so long as business is fully on board. Here's what he told me back in January at the very start of the legislative session. Are you essentially handing your veto pen to the business community and allowing them to stop anything that they don't like?
Well, I don't hand it to labor or the business community. What my goal here is we've had a fair and stable way of organizing unions for 81 years in our state that's avoided huge fights of going to open shop or close shop.
So following the veto today, coalition of labor advocacy groups, the Colorado Workers' Rights United, said Polus was, quote, siding with billionaire-backed interests of against Colorado's working families. Polus fighting with pro-labor Democrats, that's a tale as old as time. Last year, he dropped 2 vetoes on labor-backed bills. Close to $500,000 is being spent right now on political ads on Denver's TV stations, even though there is no election soon. Bunch of you have asked what's up with that. Deanne, Don, Mike, Sheldon, Ray, Kathy, Jim, Kate, and there's more. You've all asked about that ad that we're airing that praises President Trump, who of course cannot legally run again. So politics guy Marshall Zellinger fired up the truth test machine in the offseason.
When this political ad started running this week, the ad was already outdated because most of the data is from March and does not yet reflect impacts of President Trump's tariff flip-flops.
We're already seeing results.
The words on screen, Trump's tariffs ... delivered results, mislead. The New York Times article it references appears to be this story about how Mexico's president said she delivered results to avoid 25% tariffs, which Trump still put in place. The Mexican government extradited drug cartel leaders to the U.S. and sent the Mexican National Guard to the border to limit illegal crossings. Trump still imposed the tariffs.
The cost of living's coming down.
It is true that inflation that does not take into account food and energy is at a 4-year low, a trend that started in February 2023, 2 years before Trump took office. The Forbes article also cited in the ad includes a quote from an economist that says the shock to consumer goods prices from tariff hikes is not reflected yet. It is provably false that gas prices are also at 4-year lows. This is data direct from the U.S. government. In April, the average gas price was $3.29. It was 7 cents cheaper in March. And the low before that was December 2024, and before that, January 2024. The price of a barrel of oil is the lowest since August 2021, almost 4 years. But the price you pay at the pump is not.
Wages are up, and we're creating American jobs.
This is funny math. Look at this chart from the CNBC article cited. Average hourly wages are up 3.8% from last March, but that's the second lowest year-to-year increase in the last 3 years. As for the 451,000 new jobs created, the stat is based on a Fox Business story using company announcements and industry reports. I used government statistics from March and April of this year, since Trump has been president, compared to March and April last year. This year, 362,000 new jobs. Same time last year, 475,000.
Who's behind the ad? The political ad is paid for by a dark money group called Securing American Greatness, a pro-Trump nonprofit that does not have to disclose who helped pay for the ad. By my math, looking at the FCC records of political files, it's about $420,000 plus for the 2 weeks of ads that are going to air in Denver TV stations. Axios, Kyle, reported recently that these are airing in areas where there are contentious congressional district races coming up.
Oh, so they'd be looking at Colorado's 8th congressional, so that's Gabe Evans' seat, Republican. He's already got a couple Democratic challengers, and it's thought to be one of the closest races in the country.
I could not get that confirmed, but it shakes out because there's also an ad touting Gabe Evans right now from a different group, also kind of pro-Trump.
It's interesting. I get the sense that the pro-Trump people love this because it's like a victory march that continues on television, and the anti-Trump people find it exhausting.
From a fact-checking standpoint, I had to do so much math today to make sure I'm verified in what I'm doing, because this ad is believable, perhaps, if you watch it. But then once you get into the numbers, it's like, wait a minute, which numbers are they going off of, and why are they using these instead of this? And it was tricky.
Well, that's your job, and you're good at it. Marshall Zellinger, thank you. So the difference between a catastrophic wildfire and one that gets under control in northwest Colorado might just depend on the work that homeowners are doing to create defensible space around their houses. And they're not alone in that fight. This week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign supports the Routt County Wildfire Mitigation Council. That nonprofit is on the ground helping homeowners with fire mitigation around their houses, clearing brush, creating defensible space. They are also expecting a federal funding cut at a tough time because they're trying to scale up their work to meet demand to provide personalized fire mitigation plans. So the dollars that we raise together will cover the one-time setup cost for a software program and tablets that they're going to use to help homeowners create mitigation plans. This is work that fire departments are able to do in the foothills communities in the metro area, but in northwest Colorado, there are just too few firefighters, too strapped to do this. So the nonprofit is going to be able to send out trained volunteers with this software program to meet with property owners and create a custom plan to help make their property the one where firefighters can stop the fire. That nonprofit's also setting up a disaster recovery fund to help Routt County, the area around Steamboat, recover when the inevitable happens up there. Scan that QR code on your screen or text the word THANKS to 303-871-1491 to get the link to donate. Each week, more and more of you join the 5,000 plus who have signed up to make a monthly donation to the Word of Thanks Fund. You don't have to put in your info every week. You don't have to remember. You put it in once and your donations automatically split among all the nonprofits we feature. That's how we start these microgiving campaigns with more than $30,000 in donations. Governor pulls a bit of a page out of the Trump playbook. He is now threatening to withhold funding for some cities in Colorado if they don't follow a top priority passed by the legislature.
My good news is this upcoming July, I'm starting a tattoo apprenticeship.
And students at a unique new school in Commerce City have spent 4 years blazing a trail, and now they tell us what's next. Democratic Governor Jared Polus is going to get tough on cities and counties who ignore the state's plan to create more affordable housing. Today, the governor signed an executive order threatening to withhold some state funds from cities and counties that will not comply with several recently passed state housing policies. The governor says $100 million in state grants could be withheld from local governments if the state decides they aren't making a good faith effort to come in line with 7 housing laws passed during the 2024 and 2025 legislative sessions. Those laws include prohibitions on residential occupancy limits and minimum parking requirements, as well as bills encouraging the construction of accessory dwelling units, modular housing. Most of these laws haven't taken effect yet, but Colorado Public Radio reports communities like Westminster, Arvada, Colorado Springs have already said that they will not comply with some of the laws. Polus says the state is not going to withhold disaster relief funds or money for public health and safety programs. This is other funding. The Colorado Municipal League has previously expressed concerns about some of the conditions that these laws place on municipalities. Today, they told our partners at Colorado Politics they're looking for partnership, not preemption. What I'm looking for, Corey Reppenhagen, is a look ahead to this weekend because the last couple of days have just been gorgeous.
Yeah, we're going to have one more really nice one tomorrow. We're almost to the point of the year, about 30 days away from where we start complaining about the heat. So rewind to days like this. This is going to be perfect. 74, 75 degrees around the Front Range here. The winds are going to be down to calm to very light, I'd say breezy. So very nice day headed our way tomorrow, although we will see those clouds in the sky. That may even help with the feel. And then afternoon thunderstorms will come in at about 1:30, 2 o'clock. They don't look like they're going to cover a lot of ground tomorrow or be very heavy, but it does look like they will be right in the Denver metro area, and that could include all the way until about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock tomorrow night. And then once we get into Sunday, here we are Sunday morning for the Colfax Marathon. Looks like a mix of sun and clouds, but clouds out to the east may help with the temperatures there. Not a complete overcast, but nice conditions. And then more afternoon thunderstorms on Sunday afternoon, and those will turn severe as they get out to the northeast plains on Sunday afternoon and evening. Here's the 7-day forecast here. Your extended planner in Denver will see the temperatures just gradually rise and dry things out as we get towards next weekend. We'll be back into the 80s, Kyle.
A trailblazing senior class turned their tassels today after taking a moment to answer our favorite Friday question. Hey, a reminder, you can stream this program free, 9 News Plus, every weeknight, 6 p.m. And next is in audio form as a podcast, wherever you find those. They helped build a school. And today, the first graduating class from Stead School in Commerce City got a final pop quiz. Our favorite question to end the week.
Cannot tell you how much it warms my heart to be here with you today.
My good news is that I'm graduating.
You've brought Stead to life.
Today's the day. We're like the first graduates of our school.
And it's been nothing less than inspiring to watch your journeys from freshmen to now graduating seniors.
My good news is that I'm graduating today and that I have so much more of my life ahead of me.
If it wasn't for God, if it wasn't for my friends and family, I wouldn't be where I am today, so that's my good news.
I was playing rugby in high school and I went into cardiac arrest. Yeah, that's my good news, is I survived and I'm here to graduate.
Beep boop. We cannot wait to see all the amazing things that you do next.
Stay authentic.
My good news is I'm starting a tattoo apprenticeship starting this upcoming July. And then in a few days, I'm getting my motorcycle license and motorcycle.
I'm very excited. It's also really sad. We've all grown up together. We started freshman year without a building, and now we have our beautiful campus, and it's really, really exciting to see how far we've all come, and it's so exciting.
My good news is that I have committed to play volleyball at Ottawa University for this fall semester.
Now, we are the adults.
My good news, being a first gen to graduate.
I got accepted into CU Boulder to major in history, and I'm surrounded by the people I love.
Can't help smile at graduation stuff. That's the law. Maryland has feedback. Back with that next. OG Next viewers may remember our original theme song. Years later, we will still get emails from people who hate our new music, even though the new music is more than 5 years old. OG viewers might also remember the old music's universal appeal, because when Next was in its infancy, oh, listen to that music, it slaps. So are many of our most devoted fans. Had this army of dancing babies who loved the start of the show every night when that tune would kick in. Dogs loved it too. Just something about the new music never quite resonated the same way. Well, guess what? The rebuilding of our legion of Next-loving babies starts tonight. Our new general is 2-year-old Henry. His mom, Kate, sent us this video of Henry dropping everything to tune into the theme when it comes on. Send us more dancing babies. Feedback by text. After last night's uncomfortable performance regarding the Singles Club and your ongoing references, it's nice to see you tonight in professional attire. What you wear should not be the subject of your broadcast. Holy cow, you don't like the stories? You don't like what I wear? There are other newscasts, you know.